Here's a social anxiety hack that completely changed the way I interact with people. And it can change the way you interact with people too. It's gonna help you stop feeling self-conscious and start feeling more confident in social situations. And it's all based on a little-known psychological principle called the spotlight effect. You think everyone noticed you stumble? I can almost guarantee they didn't. This psychological bias is fueling your social anxiety. Let me explain. When we do something in public that we perceive as embarrassing or awkward, like say we trip or we say something stupid, we assume that everyone around us is noticing and judging us. But the truth is, people are actually too focused on themselves to pay any attention to us. They're simply not that interested. You see, we all have this spotlight shining down on us wherever we go, fueling our insecurities and making us feel like we need to perform the perfect social interaction every single time. But the spotlight isn't actually there. We just think it is. And this is what's causing you so much social anxiety. So here's what you do next time you feel the spotlight shining down on you. You think everyone's looking at you and judging you. Imagine instead that you're a character in a movie. How do you think the camera crew would react if you suddenly started acting really weird or you did something embarrassing like you spilled coffee all over yourself? Would they be shocked? No, they wouldn't. They'd probably roll with it because they know that stuff happens and it's not a big deal. In fact, they've probably seen much worse happen before, and they know that if they focus on that, they'll just look unprofessional and it'll make their job more difficult. So they just ignore it and move on. Well, guess what? It's the exact same for the people you're interacting with. They don't notice the weird things you're doing because they're too busy focusing on their own lives and what is going on with them. They have their own problems to worry about. So just like the camera crew, they just ignore you and move on. This might sound like a simple concept, but when you really understand it and you let it sink in, it completely changes the way you view social interactions. It's one of those things that you know intellectually, but you have to experience it for yourself and really believe it in order for it to have an impact on your anxiety. Let me give you another example. Have you ever been in a situation where you thought you were having a great conversation with someone until suddenly you notice that they were staring off into space, they're not really responding much, and they seem to be uninterested in what you're saying? What do you do in that situation? Chances are you end the conversation quickly because you feel rejected or embarrassed. But here's the thing. Studies show that people are actually terrible at detecting when someone is disinterested in what they're saying. We tend to think that other people are paying more attention to us than they actually are. So that person you thought was staring off into space wasn't really paying attention to you. They were probably just thinking about something else, or they were preoccupied with something going on around them. But because of the spotlight effect, you assumed that it was your fault and that they were rejecting you. When you realize that most people aren't paying as much attention to you as you think, it allows you to relax and be more yourself. You don't have to worry about saying the perfect thing or doing the perfect thing because the truth is, no one really cares. They have their own stuff to worry about. Now, I want you to take this principle and apply it to all of your social interactions moving forward. The next time you feel the spotlight shining down on you, just remember that it's not real. It's just your anxiety making you feel self-conscious. Everyone else is just too busy focusing on themselves to pay any attention to you. So relax and be yourself. Stop trying to perform and just enjoy the interaction for what it is. You'll be more confident, you'll be less anxious, and you'll make a lot more friends in the process. And if you want to learn even more about how to overcome social anxiety disorder, then click here to watch this video, How to Stop Caring What Other People Think of You.